What's up, everybody? I'm Caleb Ochoa, also known as NFL K22, and this is Betting the NFL week number 15. 16, I think it is. Um, but yeah, I do not have my co-host with me, DWeezy. Hopefully, we will have him here back soon. But it's going to be a shorter show, just me tonight. Um, but we're going to do what we always do. We're going to sit here, going to make you guys uh, make you guys money because that is the goal of the show. Didn't do too well last week, but finally ended my winning streak of 6 weeks. Um, had a losing week this week, but that's okay because we're gonna start again. We're gonna start a new streak. We're gonna start winning again, and we'll start right here on this show doing just that. But before we do that, we have to recap what happened last week. And as for last week, we have the favorites 12-4 straight up, 10-5-1 against the spread. That's better than what they've been doing in previous weeks. It's been more even between the favorites and the underdogs. Home teams, been saying all season, been absolutely terrible. And I think this may be the worst week. 5-11 just straight up, 6-9-1 against the spread. Pretty damn bad week for the home teams. Over and unders, pretty even split there. 8 overs, 8 unders. So no really edge either way. Favorites 157 and 67 straight up. 114, 103, and 7 against the spread. Home teams, terrible. 114, 110, straight up. 100, 117, and 7 against the spread. I mean, it's just been underdogs. When underdogs are hidden, keep betting the dogs because that's what's winning here. So if you want to make some money, bet the underdog because that's what the trend says. That's what the trend's been all season. So keep hitting it. All right, with 115 overs, 105 unders, a little more edge to the overs, a little more points been scored. Probably going to keep. I would say that trend is going to keep going into the playoffs. So want to keep an eye on those as well. As for my own record, 1-4, like I said, not a good week for me at all. Pretty bad. My best pick was my only win of the week. Colts at Broncos. I took the Broncos minus points. This was my only win. It wasn't looking good at first with Bo Nix just throwing pick after pick, but he definitely rebounded in the end. It was kicked off by Jonathan Taylor dropping that ball right before the end zone. Would have changed that game if he had scored that touchdown, but instead the Broncos score 24 unanswered points on the Colts with a very dominant victory by the Broncos. Wasn't looking that way because early on, like I said, they were very much behind for most of that game, and then when they turned it on big time and won and covered that spread. And that's what the Broncos have been doing. The Broncos have been covering spreads lately. That's why I've been picking them a lot, and they've been winning me some money. And they won't at least give me one win for the week. Worst pick was the Chiefs at the Browns. I took the Browns +4. Finally, the most consistent team all year has been the Chiefs, not covering our spread, but they finally do it. They finally cover our spread in the and because they've been in a one-score game every single week, and the one week that they don't do it, the one week that they have a double-digit win, they do it in the most unspectacular way. Mahomes only throwing for 159 yards, and he then gets hurt in the game. The running backs run for less than 80 yards. So it wasn't very flashy for the Chiefs. They do win it, mostly due because Jameis Winston just couldn't deliver himself from God couldn't deliver him from picks because he threw 3 of them, kept making mistakes, which kept them scoring. Definitely a bad pick by me. So before we get into our picks for week 16, if you guys can hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. If you really want to help us out, you can join Kofi or Coffee. The link is in the description down below. Join whichever tier suits you. We very much appreciate it. Just appreciate you guys for tuning in, and love having you here. Now we will get into our week 16 picks of the week. And I got them right here. And I'll start it off with the Texans plus 3.5 at the Kansas City Chiefs. It is still undetermined whether or not Patrick Mahomes will play. So if you see a plus number on this game with the Texans, you got to take it. You got to take it. I've seen it where Vegas has them a minus number for the Texans because they assume that he won't play. But if he does play, the Texans will be the underdog in this case. And I'm going to take the points. So take the points if you can. But even if he does play, even if Patrick Mahomes does play, he's still going to come off of an injury. Maybe not. Obviously, it won't be 100%. The Chiefs have been in a one-score game every single game except for last week. And then CJ Stroud won't make all the mistakes that James Winston did last week. Despite their 13-1 record, the Chiefs are still a terrible team covering the spread. They're 1-7 in the last 8 games. They've been terrible all season. There's just because they got to win last week, just because they got to cover last week, does not mean that's going to start a new trend for them. They will revert back to what they were, and that's not a covering team. And the Texans, whether or not Patrick Mahomes plays or not, the Texans will cover the spread at 3.5. Steelers plus 6.5 at the Ravens. The Ravens have not seemed to figure out the Steelers just yet. The loss earlier in the season in their first matchup, where the Ravens were favored by 3 points. They are now an even bigger favorite at 6.5, and they're probably because they're at home. But we have learned this season that the home field doesn't matter. So them getting these 3 more points really doesn't seem right to me. I don't think they should be this big of a favorite against the Steelers, especially in a rivalry such as this. There's no reason for a big spread. So I think they got that wrong. Steelers 7-2 against the spread last 9 games, 6-1 against the spread last 7 games against the Ravens in particular. The Ravens 1-4 last 5 games they have played in the AFC North. They will not cover the spread, but I do think they will probably win the game just because they probably do a win against the Steelers. But 6.5 is just outrageous to me. I just don't think they will win by a whole touchdown. All right, for our third bet of the week, we got the Rams -3 at the New York Jets. I like in the Rams laying the points here. Rams, after a win against the 49ers, they have the lead down the NFC West. And they have to try to keep that. All they have to do is put away this lowly Jets team. The Rams have been on a 3-game winning streak where they have not turned over the ball. They protected Matt Stafford well. He's only been sacked a couple times, I think. The Jets are 0-4 straight up, 1-3 against the spread as an underdog this season. Aaron Rodgers may have had, probably his best game that he played last week, but even that won't be enough to beat this Rams team, who are 4-1 against 4-1 against the spread last 5 games. Jets 3-8 against the spread last 11 games. Definitely not going to cover a 3-point spread. Maybe small, but not for this game, with the Jets being as crappy as they are. Eagles -3.5 at the Commanders is my next bet. I'm tired. I'm tired of losing money by picking against the Eagles. Obviously, maybe I get a little bit biased on this one. I pick against the Eagles because I hate the Eagles, but I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of losing money. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to put my money on them. The Eagles still have not. They They still have a shot at the number 1 seed since the Lions lost last week. The defense has been strong in the past 6 games, only allowing just under 20 points in every single one of those 6 games. I expect Barkley to have a big game, as he did in the last matchup between these two teams, where the Eagles did win that game. Eagles 5-1 against the spread last 6 games. Washington 1-4 against the spread last 5 games. These two trends heading against the spread, two different directions. Definitely like the direction that the Eagles are going. Not personally, I don't, but as far as putting where my money goes, I'm going to put my money on the Eagles to cover a 3.5 point spread in a tough NFC East divisional game. For my last bet of the week, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars on the money line. Depending on of what book you look at, this game is going to be a pick 'em or it's going to be the Raiders favored. I see that the Raiders are favored, so I'm going to take the money line on this one because they're only favored by about a point. Not really much of a point spread on this one. The Raiders look so sad and hapless on Monday night. They just could not move the ball on the Falcons defense. That's not that great. Mac Jones hasn't been great, but he just needs to do just enough. He needs to do just enough to beat a bad Raiders team that are looking for that number 1 pick in the draft. So they're going to want to lose this game to get there. Raiders are 1-4-1 in the last 6 games, 5-8-1 on the season. So they're a terrible covering spread just because they're a terrible team. So I like Jacksonville on the money line. Put your money there. Like I said, shorter show this week. But I do thank you all for watching because we'll be back next week, even on Christmas. I don't take Christmas off. Doesn't matter what day. I'm going to be here to try to make you guys money because the money making don't stop even for Christmas. And you're definitely going to want to make some money on Christmas because you just spent a lot on all those Christmas gifts. So just come back here on Christmas to make some more, all your Christmas money back. And we'll keep winning you guys games. But like I always say, let's get ready to make that money.